Hello there, everyone. So I started off this month wanting to take part in the Blacklit Challenge created by Artisan Geek here on YouTube. But what happened is I started off the month kind of strong, reading Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. I wanted to use this book to complete the challenge of reading a book with a black person on the cover, and I did that. But because I loved this book so much, I started reading the second book, which also has a black character on the cover. So maybe I was just being an overachiever, and I read 2 books and it was great. I almost choked on my words there, but it's fine. So it was going great. But because I absolutely love YA fantasy, I don't know if I would call this a YA fantasy, but let's just do that now. Because I love YA fantasy so much and I was already in a fantastic world of black people, I was just like, I want more of this. I started reading A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney because I wanted more black fantasy, and oh my god, I love that too, so I read the second book in that series. So what this says is that I am a creature of habit. Because I love YA fantasy, I will stay in that genre and probably only will read YA fantasy. So because I didn't want to continue this roller coaster ride of just reading one genre of books and not stepping out of my comfort zone, I wanted to create this video to hold myself accountable and actually follow the prompts for the challenge. So the first prompt for the challenge was to read a book written before the 21st century. I tried looking for a book that I was interested in reading and couldn't find one, but today while I was in my parents' room, I found this book that I read in middle school, and it's Bad Boy by Walter D. Myers, and it's a memoir. So I plan to read this because I already know basically the gist of the story and I know that it's not going to bore me, so I plan to use this to satisfy this challenge. I don't know when exactly this was created. I'm gonna have to look it up and include it in the video, but yeah, I plan to read this for the first prompt. So the second prompt was to read a book with a black character on the cover. If I remember correctly, I read like 4 books with black characters on the cover, and I'm currently reading Benti by Nnedi Okorafor. So I basically read 5 books with black people on the cover, which is great. And this also have black people on the cover, so you know, I'm an overachiever or whatever. So the book is about a girl named Sunny, who both of her parents were born in Nigeria, and both of her brothers were born in Nigeria, I think. But she was born in America, and her parents decided to move back to Nigeria to permanently live. And Sunny is albino, so she feels like she doesn't fit in with her peers at school, and they also make her feel like she doesn't fit in. But she was able to find a community where she felt like she belonged, and she also found out that she was a free agent slash is a free agent. And a free agent is basically a person who is able to use magic even though it wasn't passed down through their bloodlines. I don't think I explained that properly, but it's an amazing book and I recommend everyone to go read it. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars because I enjoyed it a lot. I love reading fantasy books that takes place in Africa or just in the black community in general because it just makes me feel so friggin' happy, and I'm gonna make everyone read this book because it's amazing. Like, amazing. If you like Harry Potter or just like any fantasy book that has like a group of friends that go on adventures together and like learn and grow together, read this book because oh my god, it's beautiful. And I just want like 50 of these books. Like, I just want an extensive list of fantasy books that takes place in Africa or the black community in general. And yeah, I just love it so much. And I also read the second book, Akata Warrior, and I give that, I just said that so weirdly. I also read the second book, Akata Warrior. Oh my god, why does it sound so weird? I also read the second book, Akata Warrior, and oh my god, it sounds so weird when I say it. I also read the second book, Akata Warrior, and I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The book was also really good, but I feel like it dragged a little bit and I was getting impatient at the end and I just wanted it to wrap up, you know? But I enjoyed it a lot and I can't wait for book 3, and I wish it would just come out tomorrow because I can't wait. The third book I read that also completes the second challenge of reading a book with a black character, it's A Blaze of Black by L.L. McKinney. So, this book was also really good. Give it 5 out of 5 stars. The book is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and it's about a girl named Alice who, after her father's death, was attacked by this creature called a nightmare and was saved by the Mad Hatter. And through a series of events, she becomes like a monster killer that specifically kills nightmares. One day while returning home from Wonderland, Alice got attacked by this mysterious stranger who infected her with a disease called the madness. And the madness got transmitted to the Hatter, and Alice is on this journey to find the cure to the madness. A lot of other things happened in the book, but I'm not good at explaining things, so we're just gonna leave it there. So yeah, really enjoyed the book, really loved the world, can't wait to be in it again because I really love the world. I feel like I might just be starved from not having an extensive list of black fantasy books to read. Maybe that's why I feel so strongly about these books, but I really enjoyed it. I really loved Allison as a character. She felt extremely real. I could relate to her a lot, and her friendship group, like the side characters in this book, felt real too. The world just felt real and believable, and I just really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars. Great story. For the second book in the series, A Dream So Dark, I give that a 4 out of 5 stars because it also dragged a lot. I was getting so impatient and I wanted the book to just wrap up. And also, I feel like the twists in the story, which were good, and I like them, a little bit cliche, but whatever. I kind of wanted them to wrap up a little bit. I was like, why aren't these characters figuring out this shit already? I'm getting sick and tired of waiting for you guys to figure these things out when it's also obvious, but whatever. I enjoyed it to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So one of the challenge was to read a genre outside of your comfort zone, and my comfort zone is basically fantasy books. Like YA fantasy books, adult fantasy books, middle grade fantasy books. I'm just a fantasy book type gal, and sometimes I'll sprinkle like in a little bit of contemporary romance in there, but I mostly dabble in the fantasy genre. So I planned to read like a sci-fi book or just like a book that I feel like I love, but I didn't want to punish myself and read a book that I would absolutely hate. So I decided to read Benti by Nnedi Okorafor, and this is a sci-fi book with like a little bit of fantasy in it, to be honest. So is that fair? I don't know, but it's outside of my fantasies. Blah, 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 blah. But it's outside of my comfort zone, so it will do. So the book is about a girl named Benti, and she is from a tribe of people called the Himba, and they basically live in isolation away from other tribes, and they don't venture out of their community a lot. So Benti took this entrance exam to one of the top universities in the galaxy, and she passed and was offered a full scholarship to this school, but she's discouraged by her family and her peers to not go to the university because her people don't travel outside of their community. So Benti run away from her tribe and basically decides to go to this university. And throughout the book, or where I am so far, we get to see Benti's reaction to the world and the outside world reaction to her. So the book is really cool so far. I'm not into it as much as I thought I would be, but it's not boring, so I just want to see how the story goes and how it ends and where it's going. So yeah, so those are the books I've read so far, and those are the books I'm planning to read so far. So for the next 2 challenges, I think there's only 2 left. I haven't planned any books for them yet. I have 2 more weeks left for this reading challenge, but I'm not worried because I got this. So yeah, so the next challenge is to read a book from an author outside the UK and the US. I've been having problems with this, okay? Because I've been searching and can't find, okay? I haven't found any books yet. I have one in mind, and it's Midnight Robber by, I can't remember. I'll put the author's name here. So yeah, the book I'm thinking I will use for this challenge is Midnight Robber by this author. She's a Jamaican fantasy author, so I'm still gonna be in the fantasy genre. But I think this book is like a sci-fi fantasy, so we'll see. Let's see if I actually read it. So, yeah. And the last challenge is to read a book recommended by Anna. So I need to go look at her recommendations and see what book I'm going to read. So, yeah. I feel like I'm going to do well with this challenge. I don't know why I was having such difficulties before. I feel like it's because I refuse to read outside of the genre I know I'm comfortable in. But we're going to stop that, okay? We're going to do this. It's Black History Month, and I need to stop being a friggin' baby. So yeah, that's the video. I hope to come back next week with actual good news of smashing this challenge. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.